And now I need to draw my right plane. So to do that, I will create a new layer, call it right plane. And then make sure I'm on the perspective grid tool, and then take my rectangle tool, hover over the bottom or the top edge, and just draw the rectangle that goes towards the right vanishing point, because number 3 is clicked or this orange plane is highlighted. Okay, so now I need to put my windows, which are already drawn, and the window is a symbol, so all I need to do is drag my symbol out. Let me go ahead and do that. But the question is, which layer am I working on first? I'm going to work on this layer, and I'm going to lock my right plane and my image in the background. And I need to hide my left plane because I need to see through in order to be able to know where to position the window. Okay, so let me go to the symbols panel, make sure I'm on the right layer, which is the left plane, go to the symbols panel and drag out the window. But this doesn't work, as you can see. It gives me the sign that's not, basically it means it's preventing me from doing that. Why is that? That's because my layer is not visible. I've hidden my layer. But I need it hidden because I need to see through. So the best thing is not to hide the entire layer, but just to go inside the layer and hide the path that we have, this rectangle plane that the gray plane that we drew on the left side. So keep the layer visible, but just hide the path that's making up the left gray plane. Okay, so now I can go to my symbols panel and drag out my window. And as you can see, it comes in its original form, which is flat, a flat window with a cross-shaped, panels. So what I want to do is take my window and position it right here. And how will I do that for it to go in perspective? Because I don't want it to stand flat on the left panel. What I need to do is click and hold the perspective grid tool and go to the next tool under the perspective grid tool, which is called perspective selection tool. Take that. Once you have that selected, just grab your window and move it, and you can see that it's following the vanishing point. Now, I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to choose my left plane. I had my right plane selected from the beginning. So that's why my window is following the right vanishing point. Let me undo what I did by hitting Command Z and then clicking the number 1, which will take me to the left plane. And now, obviously, using the perspective selection tool, take the window and drag it on the left plane and position it where it should be, like so. And then you can see that as far as perspective, it's right, but it's not the same size of window. So all you need to do is just hover over the edge and scale it out and then scale it down just to meet that. To do the second window, you can go ahead and take another window from the symbols panel and again bring it and position it here, and then just make sure you're using the perspective selection tool, and so forth. Now let me see what's happening with my layers. I have 2 of my windows right here, and they should be in front of my gray plane, so that's wonderful. And if I hide my grid, this is what we start seeing. Now you get the picture, and you can continue doing the same thing for the right panel, adding the windows, making sure you select the right plane, obviously, and just by clicking the number 3 again, and so forth. Let me show you a couple of more tricks. I will go ahead and draw, a pavement right here. So to do that, I need to select the horizontal grid, which is the green grid at the base, and that's number 2. But it seems I'm not on the perspective grid tool. That's why this is not being activated. So let me click on the perspective grid tool, select the number 2, which will take me to the base, and then take again my rectangle tool. This time perhaps choose a very dark gray for the pavement, and then create a new layer, place it at the very top, and call it pavement. And let's just click here and draw the pavement of the left side, and then click here and draw the pavement of the right side, each going to the proper vanishing point. Okay, now what you can continue doing is, give thickness to the pavement and start adding nice elements like people, bicycles, signs, and so forth. We will do one more thing, and that's adding the Starbucks sign with the thickness. They have this logo on a green box. We're going to give thickness to that green box so that you also learn how to, if you have something that has thickness, you're able to do that as well. So let me go and hide the plane of the left side like this, and also the grid. So I want to basically type the word Starbucks coffee, and I'm not going to follow what they have, which is the word on the wall, but I'm going to make a green box behind it, which is usually what most stores have. So let me first of all, on a new layer, write logo. And on the logo layer, I want to create my green box. So I'm taking the rectangle tool and then drawing a nice green box. Let's go and select that nice Starbucks green. Okay, and then I want to type using capitals Starbucks coffee and increase the font size. And let's see what font works with this. I think a close font to what they have is Arial Bold. Let's see how that looks. If we have Arial Black, that's even better. Okay, so that's pretty close. I want to position it right here and perhaps make it a bit smaller. And make it white. Okay. I also want to create outlines of this logo because I'm not going to edit it later, and I prefer to make it a graphic rather than editable font. So with it selected, let's hit Command-Shift-O, and it's now outlined. Okay, so this is our logo, and I'm going to open my symbols panel and select the whole thing, drag it to the symbols panel, and call this, symbol logo. Okay, so it's right here. I can get rid of it on my artboard because I have it within symbols. So now what I want to do is position this logo on my left plane. Now let me make sure my perspective grid tool is active, and I also need to activate my left plane. So I'll click on that, on the blue one, or the shortcut is the number 1, and then take my symbol from the symbols panel and drag it out and drop it on my artboard, and then I have to position it. So to position it, remember that I need to be on the perspective selection tool, which is under the perspective grid tool. So select that and then take the logo and drag it, and you will see that it's again following the perspective of the left plane, which is ending at the vanishing point on the left. So that's our logo, and perhaps we can scale it down. I'm holding down the Shift key to keep the proportion. Okay. Now what I want to do, let me hide the grid again, Command-Shift-I. What I want to do is add thickness on the edge, because usually we see these Starbucks signs, over a green box with a thickness. So starting with this edge, I will add a thickness right here, and that thickness is going to be following which plane? That's the question now. Let me go ahead and first of all take my rectangle tool and a nice darker green, and actually I'll make it bright green because it's following this side, the right side, and there's light on the right side. So I'm going to select the lighter green from here, and with my rectangle tool selected, I have to first activate my grid. So Command-Shift-I again, and I'm going to hover over this section and then select the right plane, and then click and drag. And I selected the right plane because this box, the thickness here, follows the perspective of the right side, and these two parallel lines end up at the vanishing point on the right side. Now if I want to draw the thickness of this base, I will select the darkest green. Oops, I have to deselect my initial right thickness first, okay, and then select the darkest green, and this time draw the base thickness here, and that should actually follow the horizontal grid, which is the green grid. So to do that, I will go ahead and select number 2, or just click on the horizontal grid, and then let's zoom in to see well. Put the center of that cross at the edge of the light green thickness, and then draw the dark green thickness, just like that. Okay, so now let me again remove the grid, and so forth. So what I have is, I will also unhide this. What I have is a beginning of something. I have a nice sign that has a thickness, the perspective is right, it's mathematically right, all my points are going towards a vanishing point. Obviously for your assignment this is not what you have to do, but this is an exercise, and for the assignment you have to create your own perspective, choose your own nice corner, and definitely populate it with elements. A person on a bicycle, details of the windows, maybe bricks if you feel like it, and so forth. So this is just a very simple demonstration.